the captivating Fireside chat, which is going to be featuring Nicolo again. I'm going to welcome Vega to the stage, Joanna, who is our Warsaw-based cloud director, and then Viola is going to be joining us over Meet. So, folks, take a seat.
Hello, hello. Hi, Viola. Oh, I see you here. Great. So I have the pleasure to run this panel with the three esteemed guests we have in Poland. So quick introduction. I mean, the title of the panel is The Cutting Edge of Cloud AI, Innovations and Their Responsible Deployment. So I hope you will find out something more about that. But first, let me introduce everyone who we have here. And I'll start with Viola, who is on VC. So Viola is an engineering director at Google Cloud AI. Her team aims to bring value to Google Cloud customers through transformative applications of generative AI. She's a seasoned engineering leader. She has previously filled the role of VP of Engineering of Shared Services. I'll skip some of that. She's based in Romania. She holds a computer science degree. Welcome. We have Vega here, and Vega is a senior engineering director in the AI division of Google Cloud. And what is scary here to me, he leads teams which are building AI tools targeted at evaluating employee productivity.
Elevating. The evaluation is other parts of.
Yes. See, my brain was just like, no, that's exciting stuff. Anyway, he also works at AI products focusing on needs of the financial services. My prior background is there, so I'm super interested to follow up on that. Healthcare, life sciences sectors. His 15 years tenure at Google, that's a lot, has given him the opportunities to see various dimensions of building large-scale software products, businesses serving customers and consumers globally. And you have PhD machine learning research and applications in area of biomedical and genomics. That's awesome. Nicolo, welcome. Nicolo is a director of engineering at Google Cloud AI. Did you introduce yourself already? Yes. I will skip that then. You know Nicolo.
I have no PhD though.
All right, and me. So I'm Joe Obstój. I'm a director of engineering, but not in the AI division. I'm in the cloud runtimes, so containers of Google Cloud. And I've been here in Google 3 years. I hold computer science degree. I think that's it. All right, so to icebreak us a little bit, and maybe first question to you who are here in Poland. So you've probably, is it your first trip? Am I assuming it right, to Poland? Yes?
My first for me, I think.
Also first for me, for the city.
Okay, for the city. So my first question is, was there a discovery, surprise about Warsaw?
Well, I'm a European citizen, so I know how much Poland and East Europe, but Poland specifically has grown in the last 10, 15 years. And it's amazing to come and see it. I think the amount of new buildings, of, brilliance, of you see it sparkling everywhere here. It's super exciting. And I think it's a good reason for why we want to expand here. We want to make it a hub. And we know that the talent is huge, local talent. But we also know that Poland is becoming so attractive that there is also international talent. And we see diversity, we see everything that is good. And this is, I guess, what makes us so excited about it. I think it's going to become one of the countries that are going to be pillars of Europe in the years to come. So very excited to be working with all of you.
Do you have anything else, or do you want another question from the... Another one. Okay. So what is the most unconventional job on your resume or in your life that secretly prepared you for a leadership role at Google?
I'm not sure whether unconventional job is an answer here, but definitely when I was, doing my university, I took the time to, accidentally to some extent, frankly speaking, contribute to the community, to the society via various committees. Right, via various, charitable organization and stuff like that. And at that point of time, my mission was as simple as, okay, I have extra weekend or something, and I want to spend it, in a good way to some extent. But for me, at least, it was my first interaction in my life at the point of time, engaging with true needs of people, right? I mean, again, maybe we all have a different background, but having that engagement and understanding, okay, there is this organization that is currently doing something, and as a computer science student, my brain goes like, why are we not automating this? Why are we not doing this? Make it less paper and all of this stuff. So I guess that early interaction, is something that helped me form a way of looking into through the lens of our consumer or customer and things like that. And I think with the new evolution, as Dan was saying earlier, right, there is a potential that this kind of experience, while may not be able to be attained by every single individual, AI may actually be able to help, giving people this experience that otherwise they may not even able to get directly. Hopefully that makes sense.
That makes sense. It resonates. Viola, what surprised you the most when you first started at Google? Was there a positive misconception you had?
So I don't know if I had a positive misconception. What definitely surprised me is and positively surprised me is the environment that we had in the office. And I'm really sorry I can't see the Warsaw office now today, but I did see pictures, and I think it's also a wonderful office. I worked in the Zurich office for a while, and what's really inspiring about it is that just all these corners and really nice environment. It really encourages people getting together, and I found personally many times that those were the places where creativity really came to flourish, and when people get together and ideating about the problems you're solving or random other stuff, it really boosts our ability to innovate, I think.
Thank you. So now we know you a little bit as humans, and then let's go into the teams and work they do in AI, of course. So Google has been investing in AI for a while. It's an AI first company, right, for some time. How is it becoming a reality in what you and your teams are doing in Google Cloud, different, I guess, teams, divisions? And maybe Vega, I will start with you. Like, what types of problems are you solving for AI for Google Cloud?
Right. So maybe without taking too much time, just as you mentioned earlier in your introduction, I cover financial services, healthcare, and other pieces. And I would like to definitely say that while we are not directly, for example, delivering, doctor for every patient, like how Dan was picturing it for everyone, but we are very proud to be able to at least build building blocks that allow hospitals, allow, other organization, research institution and stuff like that to be able to make that situation really comes through, right? And one example that was a very proud work from the team in collaboration with the research team was our deployment of medical large model, MedLM, into production, and now it's available in many region and things like that. And we have a lot of actually interest coming in, and we are to the point that we are unable to actually meet that demand, right? And I know a lot of people actually are at least in the Poland office are working on infrastructure, working on making all of these things more scalable. And this is the kind of thing that excites me, right? Because when you see the real demand coming from the ground, it's not just us basically pushing quote unquote our product, but literally people say like, hey, we want more help. We are running out of energy because our nurses are actually tired. Can you help us by deploying this model so that we can actually work more effectively? This is just very heartwarming for me, at least. Just one slice.
Sounds amazing.
I mean, I have very similar feedback. Basically, in my work before Google Cloud, we were building Google products. And oftentimes, Google products are maybe just consumer products. For example, I was working a lot on Google Assistant. It is useful to millions of people, but at the same time, it is maybe not saving lives or not deciding for people finances, etc. When you work in Google Cloud, you get to see so many verticals, so many different experiences, so many different needs, and it makes it extremely interesting. We believe that these baseline technologies will help everyone, all of these customers, to achieve and become more efficient and become better eventually, to drive more value for humanity. I think that's what makes us all excited. At the same time, it is challenging, and it's also why we're hiding here. I guess we need more people to work on these things. We need more resources in terms of GPU and computation, and we need to address some of the challenges that I talked about before, like making it economically feasible and making it safe.
Okay. And Viola, how is your team playing into that?
So my team is actually working on Vertex AI conversations. So we are bringing the power of generative AI to enterprises. I mean, it cannot be more exciting than this, really, to work on the cutting edge of technology innovation that has been going on in the last year. So it's been really an exciting journey. What's fascinating is the problems that we are solving, also with regards to applying this technology, this emerging technology on more regulated industries like Nicolo was mentioning, and Vega, healthcare and financial industry. So it's really cool to see that being applied successfully also in these industries.
Okay, let me stay with you, Viola, for a second. So there is a section on technical deep dives, and there is a Vertex AI question. So maybe I'll pose it to you. So how is Vertex AI solution that we're building helping those who are less extensive? They have a less extensive background in machine learning. Can they really? Is it how do we think from that lens? Is it
there's an entire suite of capabilities that Vertex offers, I think, also for folks who might be less experienced with developing AI models. But let me start from the point of view that I think that the current emergence of this generative AI technology and applications, in my experience, it's really liberated and it's allowing everybody to step in this world and develop AI-based applications without necessarily having a machine learning or data science background. So to me, I think it's very easy to get started, to prototype something. There's all the models available that Vertex makes available, that were released by Google, but also other open source models which are available through Vertex. And if somebody gets into Vertex AI Studio, it's really easy to get started with, how do I prompt this model to produce something useful for me? So it's really easy to get started and experiment with these technologies. I think, in my opinion, from our side in Vertex AI Conversation, we really took the approach to make it really seamless to set something up. We can set up a generative AI conversational bot within minutes. And of course, if somebody wants to go deep, it's still possible, but it's really easy to get started with this technology at the moment.
Thank you.
Maybe to just add on top of what Viola said, which is 100% true. When we started with this LLM thing, and Vertex AI is the suite of tools that you use to build with AI, right? You don't build the models, you use the models to build your products. The customers use the models to build the products that they need. And when we started with this, every company was coming up with a crazy amount of ideas. It's not just the engineers, the data scientists, even the executives. I was I tried this prompt. It's amazing. I want to do this. Someone just showed me yesterday. But then what's our challenge? Trying a prompt and getting a prototype done gets you 70% there, and it feels like you made amazing progress in one day. Then how do you go to production? How do you make it scalable? How do you make it good enough to go from ideas to production is our challenge. And so we build the tools and the processes and the experience to help the customers, put on the ground all of these ideas that they're having on how to modernize their business.
That was my second question. How do we make this production grade? And scalability is one of the big issues, right? And also just squeezing the most juice out of the lemons of GPUs and TPUs. Anyone wants to take that and say what we're doing in this area? I didn't put a point because I was like, who knows?
No, it's no, anyone. There are optimizations that our Vertex teams are doing every day. Optimizations in the model, we provide specific training data. Optimization in the way inference is run. Optimization at the hardware layer, and then there are optimizations in the tooling that you. So the models with the first set of optimizations, the models become faster and more reliable. Like so, every 2-3 months, you get new checkpoints, you get better technologies. They can deal with more data and they can deal better with it. So you have to do less work around the model. Like a super simple example, you could have asked. There was this famous funny thing where, like, Bard, the first version of it, if you ask emit a JavaScript with this, it will always say, here's the JavaScript, and then the JavaScript. You could ask, hey, can you please avoid to put this text at the beginning? So otherwise I have to parse it and remove it manually, and it will never do it. Someone then figured out that if you say, there is someone life at stake here. If you don't put that text, it's gonna be saved or it's gonna die. And then only in that case, Palm would remove the text, and it became kind of viral on Twitter. But this was just 6 months ago. Now you ask to produce JavaScript, you get JavaScript, and these models are becoming better and better at not having to do work around it. Then on top of this, you add all of the toolings, like the search needs to become much better. The guardrails for finance need to become much better. For example, just maybe an example, Vega knows a lot more than me on this, but you don't want a financial bot to give financial advice. And some people, or like, a health bot that is helping you file an insurance claim in the US, you don't want the bot to recommend some medicines for you. Like, and people try their best to trigger the model in a certain way. So all of these guardrails, how do you develop them? This is the type of stuff that we work on top of the models.
I will just say that early bird, we were playing and my team, it was just hilarious. They were convincing it that cows can lay eggs, and he was like trying not to say no, but then it actually got convinced that yes. But he was saying, or it was saying, oh, but you shouldn't force a cow to lay egg because it's, it can be painful and things like that. But no, the half a year or a year, it's like I see a huge change in the quality of responses from Gemini and all the models. So you're doing something, because it's really getting very good.
Just wanted to add plus 100 to what was stated earlier. But I think also what we are seeing as a really excitement here and an indication of really the world transformation happening is that what Nicolo was saying are the things that we as Google are able to do and develop for the entire kind of Google Cloud, right, and throughout the technology. But what we are also witnessing is that the customer themselves actually come back to us and say, like, okay, this thing seems to be slow. How can we actually make it faster? And from their perspective, for example, distilling the model down, making it slimmer, and basically understanding that if you need to basically, address question about computer security, you do not need to write poems, right? And in fact, I actually tested it myself, whereby I was trying to ask a certain model that is focusing on security to write poems. The answer is like, sorry, I cannot do that. Which is, from my perspective, is good because it's saving costs, right? Like even cutting down certain path that is useless for this particular situation. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense.
It does. In Containers World, we also work, to make sure that the way it kind of actually runs on infra is smart. There's a lot of projects there. Okay, switching gear. So we're here in Warsaw for a reason, like you're building your teams. So first, tell us more about who are you looking for in the most generic terms? What types of people with what qualities, or what's your kind of search? How would you describe your perfect candidates?
So we are definitely growing a lot of teams actually here. So I'm speaking not on the behalf of on my own team, but also across, right? And for my set of teams in particular, we are really looking for a diverse set of people, and truly, because this is a transformative technology, right? A number of people, I think from the original paper, the Transformer people, I think their background was also quite diverse, right? And the emphasis on diversity is really genuine here, in the sense of we know that even background like cognitive science can contribute into this transformation, right? Of course, for certain roles that are more, for example, hands-on and more, for example, focus on certain area, we are looking for AI expertise. We are looking for cloud experience. All of those will be great, but that's not the only kind of skill set that we are looking for, right? We are also looking for leaders who are wanting to embrace this new technology and revolution with us, obviously. Nicolo?
The perfect answer. So I don't know what we were discussing also yesterday night over dinner, that Gen AI is also changing a lot the culture and the values and the way people build products. Like we've seen engineers that are embracing it a lot more than others, and this changes somehow the population. So it's so interesting to have all kind of diversity and different point of views. Like I would just want to make a simple example. There we've seen, we're building some frameworks and some things. People are building classes where in the constructor of the class, just to be specific, they get LLM prompts. So where you have a CSV parser with the prompt, the definition of the CSV parser is a prompt. So it's completely different. There are people that are embracing this so much more, and the progress is fast. So it's not just about, also of course, using the tools, using the Gemini or Copilot tools to help you and become faster at doing your task, but also the way you think about products and the way you put this technology at the core of your products. So I think it's interesting. We're looking for people that are really happy to experiment, to try new things, and to embrace this new set of technologies. All kind of people, of course.
And in your teams that are already, there, that you're expanding, how are you changing the culture to be more experimental, out of the box? Like, have you been doing something special to run those types of teams, Viola?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of things we are doing. Like it comes with the territory. I think that we have to constantly experiment with stuff too, because we are facing new problems almost every day. And yeah, so I think from my side, I definitely also, like Nicolo said, encourage the teams to embrace this new technology and try to apply it day by day in their job. I mean, related to maybe the Google Cloud Next event that's just coming up in a week or so, it's like all the demos that we are building. It definitely gives an opportunity for like the folks who are very much keen to try things out. They do definitely have the opportunity to build new exciting demos for this event.
If I can even add, Viola, I think you are too humble there. Your own team, I see, working on demo almost every week, right? Or every half a week there is actually demo coming out. And the reason why we are working so hard and in this way is because really what Nicolo was saying, the competition is really out there, and this transformation is really crazy. And in addition to internal demos, we are also working with customer, real life customer with real world problem. And that's super exciting for us.
They want the demos. They want the demos to go to their execs, and because every exec, go home and they have their children telling them, "Hey, are you trying ChatGPT at work? How are you using this?" Or hopefully now Gemini, which is amazing, by the way. You should all try it. And everyone then goes back to their ITs, etc. How are we using this? And then they come to us and it's like, we need to have a demo next week or in 2 weeks. And it's been like this for a year, and never catching a break, but it's good. It's very fun.
So I want to land as with my questions and leave some time for questions from the audience, maybe with a final question to all of you about the future. Obviously, we seem to be in the, some sort of paradigm shift in IT. The wave of innovation is huge, as you've been telling us, and as we see for ourselves. And when we talk about the future, if I could ask one of you at least to talk about responsible AI in that answer as well, because I think it's a huge topic to make sure that it is responsible. But so, what are your things that you're thinking about the future of AI? Where are we heading? What are the trends? And yeah, one of you, please talk about responsible AI. Whoever wants to start.
Viola, do you want to?
Yeah, I can start, sure. So, I mean, responsible AI has been at the core of what we've been paying really a lot of attention to when bringing this technology to the markets, to enterprises. I think, I mean, we have seen in the news some of the unfortunate applications of AI when, you know, on behalf of companies, the AI was promising certain things which obviously could not be fulfilled, and so it's really like top of mind for us. We are providing like the tools for enterprises to filter unwanted content, like both questions and unwanted content from the answers. And on top of that, what we really care a lot about is grounding the answers that we provide, that the conversational bots provide in the content that's been blessed by the enterprise. And we've been investing a lot in this. Like for now, we are augmenting the generative AI models with additional safeguards, sometimes applying more conventional AI tools to provide these safeguards. I do think though that the Gen AI models I have seen this, like they are getting better and better at this. So we might get at a stage at some point that those additional safeguards might not be necessary. For now, they are certainly there and necessary.
How about you? Anyone wants to talk about future trends that you're looking forward, or maybe one more?
In terms of my personal, things that I'm looking forward is truly that the way we human actually interact with this technology, I really hope that we can all together become mature on this technology quickly. Why? Because it is so exciting, right? One of the analogy, there are a lot of analogies of how transformative is technology, but one that rings, at least for me, in one dimension is kind of very similar, is with the automobile industry, right? When cars were first invented, there were no roads, right? I mean, the roads were the roads that was meant for horses, for example, right? But then, obviously, now we have very good roads and all of this stuff. I do hope that this transformation will be very quick, and it's up to all of us and each of us actually to imagine the future. But I think being and getting mature together on this new technology will be foundational to actually achieve that next leap.
Yep. It took us a lot of time to get the seat belts in the cars mandated, but hopefully it won't take us as long for AI. All right, questions from the audience. There are so many hands.
Hi, thank you, everyone. I'm Elizabeth from Tech to the Rescue. And a question, I assume, for everyone is how and will advertising impact the output of the models? And what can we do to prevent any biases from that?
It's a very good question. I think we're in a phase where everyone is still trying to understand this, and there's, I guess, a lot of debate on how to do it. It's very important to separate an unbiased model, to be responsible about having a model that is unbiased, and then in case you want to serve advertising, serve it and declare it. So like, you have, if you ask, for example, I can imagine you ask like the travel inspiration website that we saw before, you might ask which restaurant should I go to if I'm at this place. And Swiss in that situation Swiss Airlines might give you some restaurants as a suggestion and mark them as this was an ad. But again, it can be an ad, but as long as it's relevant. So you can be, as long as if you're asking for what is the best restaurant, so you should probably not provide an ad. You should provide like, okay, it looks like from the reviews that I'm seeing, this is the best restaurant. But if you're asking for like, good restaurant to go for fish food with kids. Of course, the model can give you this sounds like a good restaurant, and amongst the ones that I know of, there's one provided an advertising, so I'm showing it first for you. If I think the model becomes bad when it says this is better than the other, because there is advertisement attached to it. So, and I think everyone, at least at Google, is reasoning along these lines. The model generation, the data, and the way it is evaluated is completely unaware of ads. Ads come after, and they're part of the way you summarize your answers. So you can actually avoid biasing the model with ads.
Hello. Okay, does it work? It works. Okay. Hi, I'm Magdalena. So I work daily with LLMs, both for work and for my personal purposes. And I have noticed, as many of as all have probably done, that not all outputs from the LLM are to be trusted. The simplest example is that I was looking for a chia pudding recipe. I wanted to know the ratio of the chia versus the liquids. I have asked for the simplest chia recipe from the LLM and got one like 1/3 chia, then 2/3 of the coconut milk. Then I asked for the coconut milk or water, and suddenly the ratio has changed from 1/3 to 1/4 to 3/4 of the liquid. So you guys were mentioning using the LLMs for medical purposes, maybe medical diagnosis, as Dan has mentioned. So I'm wondering, how are you working on that trustability, verification of the outputs?
I can try to take that. Is that okay? Yeah, I think the current stage of the technology is definitely not at a stage where we should let it loose on its own, right? And I think your own example demonstrate that. The way I personally kind of try to discuss it with, especially in among social conversation, or even like in a forum like this with other CTOs, CIOs, and this kind of C-suite who are actually asking similar question. To me, one way of thinking about the technology currently is that it is still being developed and under development, right? So we can imagine that maybe the current stage of the expertise is still at the quote unquote intern level. So think of it like, first year undergraduate study who already is educated, but at the same time, not to the level where you can fully independently rely on that knowledge base and things like that. And if we actually have that perspective, then it becomes a tool to help, or a unit to help increasing productivity, but it doesn't relinquish us from actually understanding the situation and making sure that they are actually still done properly. So in a lot of our actual use cases, that's actually the kind of use cases that we currently are trying to deploy right now, right? Whereby essentially people kind of know the answer, but rather than spending, I do not know, right, an hour trying to draw the right image, you just spend 3 seconds to ask, for an image that you need, right? I'm talking about the marketing use cases as an example, because in marketing use cases, typically images are pretty creative and pretty generic rather than in specialized cases. So that will be my personal answer, in the sense of we are still early in that technology. It's almost, again, if I'm using the analogy of cars and automobile, we are not yet having a F1 Formula car ready yet. So while we obviously want that to happen, I'm not sure whether we will be able to do that right now today, right? And it's a journey that all of us should be undertaking. Viola, I think you want to chime in as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a thought on this, that for now, especially in enterprise applications, but also the consumer-facing Gemini application, we are making a difference between the model's self-knowledge and external data sources like Google search in the case of Gemini, or in the case of cloud applications, the customer provided data. So, and we are making an effort in these applications to not really rely on the model self-knowledge, because those are typically harder to verify and harder to control what the model is outputting. So we make an effort to ground the answers in some external data source like Google search or the customer's database, so that we make sure that the answers are somewhat more reliable than otherwise they could be based on just the self-knowledge of the model.
Any more questions?
Hi, my name is Piotr Malec. I'm coming from the IT and finance industry. So naturally, I'm tempted to ask the question about the regulations and any other obstacles that in the journey that we are all combined in, that might be potential derailers or showstoppers along the way for AI.
I think that's your field.
All right, so I will try to kind of answer it maybe in two different parts, right, or even three. But let me just make it easier with two. And the reason why I wanted to frame it that way is because I think we need to separate the internal exploration, model development, research even from deploying it to production. And even when we talk about deploying it to production, upon which user and upon what level of responsibility, right? So I do hope that as part of our journey together, along with obviously the regulators and other important institutions like that, we will be able to distinguish these two kind of classes, or even maybe a third one, which is deploying it in an autonomous manner, as an example, right? In terms of developing the model, I think one good way, and I know that a lot of our colleagues at Google are actually looking at it this way, rather than actually addressing the industry per se, we actually distill it into problem and skill set that we want to deliver. And as an example, in the early models of LLMs, couldn't understand tables well. I think some of us know this very well. And a lot of the research is actually being poured into understanding tables. So that's a basic thing that obviously in financial industry is very important, because a lot of data are actually in table format, right? But we do not actually try to explicitly make that it is as if understand, I do not know, right, the data about accident rate in correlation with blah blah blah, but rather we actually say what is the modality of the data, what is the problem that we are currently having, and how do we actually distill it into a core fundamental skill that is to some extent agnostic to the industry, but obviously applicable to the industry and motivated by that industry. On the angle of deployment and making it running in production, that's definitely a very great adventure that all of us will actually go through together. But I think, like what Viola was saying earlier, and also other folks here, the responsibility and the line of responsibility, we need to be clear that still at the current stage of the day, it still lies on human. Whether that human basically is thrown at the bank tellers, or at the managers of the bank tellers, or at the CEO who decided to actually adopt a technology, or in other fashion and form. I think that will be actually a discussion which individual, not only company but also industry. But at the same time, I think the shape of that landscape will be informed by also the first part. Hopefully that, I know it's a little bit a convoluted answer, but the intertwining dynamic here is actually very peculiar, because all of us want to adopt this new technology, but in a way that it is basically done in a safe manner, right? And also accountable. I think that's the key word here, being accountable towards the technology.
All right, so we're out of time. I know there's been a lot of hands raised, so I have good news for you. There is a networking planned today at 1 p.m. Viola won't be there, I guess, but Nicolo and Vega will be, so we can ask your questions to them directly at
all the others
and all the others who are here. Thank you so much for coming here. This was exciting to hear what you're building, how excited all of you are, and how deeply actually moved by all the use cases you're solving. I personally am very excited to see this coming to Poland. This is like top-notch Silicon Valley types great jobs that are coming, and it just excites me to see that we're growing in this fashion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.